So, last question from me for the day. So I'm gonna ask a question, and then I'll explain a little bit of how I came up with this question.
Uh-oh.
So, in multi-man matches, what's the smartest way to hide weaknesses without making it too obvious to the audience? And so, I was watching Jelly Roll, so WWE,
Mm-hmm.
and it was I believe Randy Orton and Jelly Roll are a tag team, and I believe they went up against Drew and Logan Paul. I might be
Okay.
wrong on who Drew's partner was,
Okay.
but you've got Jelly Roll, who is not a professional wrestler, and he's been training, but he's got weaknesses.
Obviously.
What's the smartest way to hide the weaknesses in situations like that?
Um, by limiting their time in the ring. I mean, seriously, the first thing is you don't put somebody out there to fail. Um, I have always been someone who's not been a huge fan of like mainstream stars being involved in pro wrestling. And I understand there's a contingent of fans that enjoy it and a sizable portion of fans that don't, you know. Personally, I used to hate like when WWE started doing the weekly stars hosting
Hmm.
Raw. I used to hate that we get some actor who's not very athletic and that knows nothing about pro wrestling and they're just here to promote their movie, but we got to put them over. I always hated that. But from a business standpoint, I understand that it's bringing new eyes to the product, and people who might not necessarily be watching are going to watch because of this person, and depending on how entertaining it is, they might come back. To your point, um, with somebody like Jelly Roll, I'm certain that they spent a lot of time working with him on like whatever he did, that specific thing. I don't know. This is just my professional opinion based on my experience. In that situation, when you set up the match and you have everything laid out, like this is what you're doing. And we're going to go over it and over it and over it to make sure that you are capable of doing this. Um, I used to talk to Jerry Lawler about the stuff he did with Andy Kaufman back in the day. But then that was kayfabe, So back then, wrestling was still believed to be real or presented as such, and Andy Kaufman took it very serious. He understood that wrestling was a work, but he sold it like it was, real. Um, in a situation like that, um, and let me take a moment to like give credit where it's due. Um, I always get the Paul brothers mixed up. I don't know which is which, but whichever one is doing the wrestling in WWE,
Logan.
Logan. Like every time I've seen his stuff, like his athleticism, and you can see his dedication. Like he hits it out of the park. He is obviously somebody who has put the work in and trained with whoever the coaches are, the producers, to help him execute that match. I don't know, and I'm willing to bet that, because it's not his profession, that he's not somebody that can call shit on the fly if something goes wrong. Probably everything that he's done has been worked out from A to Z.